Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are taking a look at Zakat Engineering Part 1, the external reset. We're not just looking at ancient jurisprudence here, we're actually examining highly advanced system architecture. We're going to explore this practice through a high-fidelity biopunk lens to really understand the human operating system. Now, if you've been following our analysis of Islamic system architecture, you already know that fasting, or Som, acts as an internal kernel reboot. It scrubs all that spiritual static right out of your inner operating system. But think about this. How do you debug your external reality? How do you go about rebalancing the physical, material network you operate within every single day?
This brings us to zakat. We really have to stop translating this merely as charity, because it's so much more than that. It is a highly sophisticated protocol engineered by Allah to actively purify the human soul, the nafs, and properly interface it with the broader societal network. Think of it as a mandatory system update for your wealth.
The tripartite maqasid, or core directives. Notice how brilliantly multi-layered the single command is. This protocol simultaneously executes three crucial directives. First off, it cleanses the muzirkaki, that's the giver, by literally purging the ego of greed. Second, it protects the wealth itself from the systemic glitch of hoarding. And third, it sustains society through distributive justice. So you see, this isn't just about moving money around. It's true sustainable development that prevents instant economic depletion. The activation code. So, what exactly triggers this mandatory output? Well, we have to view nisab not as some simple tax bracket, but as a literal cosmic activation code. It's a highly precise wealth threshold. The moment your accumulated assets hit this exact line, it immediately signals your human operating system to execute the mandate. It's basically the universe telling you, hey, your localized server is full, it's time to output. Imagine this threshold as a pulsating accumulation of data packets. Once this localized buildup of wealth reaches critical mass, the system strictly demands that these packets be circulated. Because if you hold on to them past this point, you risk a catastrophic system overload. The wealth literally becomes toxic to your spiritual kernel. System execution conditions.
Now, even if the activation code is triggered, the program will only execute if the user meets three very strict parameters. First up, they absolutely must be operating within Islam, which is essentially the base OS requirement. Second is how. The user needs to have held on to this wealth for a full temporal cycle, exactly 1 lunar year. Why? Because the system doesn't tax fluctuating data. And third, complete ownership. You have to have full admin rights over those assets for the protocol to run.
Debt as a system firewall. Okay, here is where the engineering gets truly incredibly brilliant. What if the user system is already compromised by external liabilities? Well, debt, or Dane, acts as a strict structural firewall. It actually steps in and blocks the Zinca execution code. The system recognizes that base stability is threatened, so it pauses the mandate. That way, a vulnerable user doesn't face a total structural collapse. It's a built-in safety measure to prevent extracting resources from a node that is already flashing red.
The expanding armor.
To truly visualize the impact of this protocol, our sources provide this totally profound historical metaphor. Charity is like expanding armor. Stinginess is like constricting iron. Just picture a figure in translucent iron armor. When the data packets of Zakat are freely released, that armor expands, offering perfect protection and absolute freedom. But during stinginess, that iron armor suffocates. It literally crushes the inner architecture under its own heavy material gravity. And when that armor expands, the wealth flows seamlessly into 8 highly specific output categories. Our sources map these out exactly. The poor and the needy, Zakat administrators who manage the flow, those whose hearts are to be reconciled, freeing captives, those completely overwhelmed by debt, the cause of Allah, and finally the stranded traveler. The wealth is mathematically routed to these exact nodes, perfectly patching the societal glitch and restoring complete network equilibrium. Well, we've reached the end of our diagnostic run for today's explainer. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to ponder amid all the noisy consumption of our modern world. If fasting resets your internal kernel, how are you going to deploy your wealth to protect your inner architecture today? Are you letting your armor expand, or is it slowly constricting your soul? And maybe more importantly, what happens to the network when millions of nodes run this exact update simultaneously? It's definitely something to think about. Until next time.